Good morning. As many of you know, I have a pretty serious relationship with the ground, especially stairs and every surface you can stand on. If you point anywhere the ground is solid, I probably have a story about the historic tumbles I have taken. So today, I'm going to talk about my fails and falls of Brooks. We all know, as freshmen, we are bound to do something awkward. It's part of being a freshman. But I was especially awkward, and the transition was a bit longer for me. I just wanted to find my way of things at Brooks. By the way, I eventually did. Towards the beginning of the year, in the first 2 months, I managed to take a trip of a lifetime. Down the Gardner staircase, the one that goes into the history wing. It was second period. I had just had a sleep-in, and I was a little disheveled. I was running down the stairs and rounded the corner, and then it happened. I started to tumble and tumble, books going everywhere, and then I landed in KJ Moore's arms. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Wrong. He held me like Simba. For a long enough time for me to realize what had happened. And then he asked, "Are you okay?" I answered, "Yes." Because what else would I say? And then I glanced over his shoulder, and of course, all the coolest senior boys had seen the whole thing. I was truly embarrassed, and as some would say, rattled. After the 5 minutes of embarrassment settled, I couldn't tell the story without going into uncontrollable laughter. The worst part is, the same thing happened later, the same week. Those stairs just had an extra strong gravitational pull that caused me a lot of issues. I may have found my groove at Brooks in the final weeks, but my mending relationship with the ground was still at odds. I had to end the year with a bang, which in my case was the actual noise of bang. In those final weeks, I tripped over myself one last time. My phone went flying as I went flying and shattered against the wall. As I laid out at the bottom of the staircase, I thank God that this time I didn't have an audience. Freshman year can be and is quite rough for everyone in some way. Your falls or fails might be quite literal or not so literal. Sometimes, like with my unwitnessed final bang, we pick ourselves up from a fall. I struggled to adjust to getting to know people at Brooks, who were a bit more closed off than I was used to. But I got there. And then you should know that when you really need it, someone is always there to catch you, even if it's someone whose arms you've awkwardly fallen into, regardless of whether you chose them. In my case, my advisor, Janelle, caught me and supported me through my bigger falls. That year, I learned you literally have to shake it off and keep going. I promise you will find your way at Brooks. Sophomore year comes around, and I'm ready to conquer Brooks. I was wrong. Disaster strikes again. I wake up one morning, I turn over, and the whole room flips. Getting up proves rather difficult. As I run through multiple trial runs, I go to the bathroom to try to brush my teeth, but then I look down into the sink and go straight into the sink. That time, the sink was there to catch me. The room is flipping again. I make it back to my room, and at this point, I thought I might be dying. Whenever I looked down, I would go straight down. Long story short, the health center is called. You will be happy to know that I was not dying. I just had vertigo and would experience those symptoms. For the next 12 hours, I could only lay in one position to not start flipping. I am happy to report that this was one of my only major falls I took that year. Well, besides my 14-point math grade fall, yes, I promise it's possible to go from a 96 to an 82 in 1 year. This fall was quite concerning for my mom, who is one who stresses about a grade that isn't above an 85. I had to sit through 2 days of testing, 2 hours away from my house, in the middle of the summer. But the end result explained why it took me 3 hours to do something, the same thing someone else could do in an hour, and how I would space when someone is talking or I was trying to think. Got accommodations for the school that allowed me to bring my grades up and my confidence back up. The Learning Center caught me on this fall and has made all the difference, teaching me the skills I needed to succeed. Junior year comes, and I am ready. I am more comfortable socially at Brooks than ever. For the first time, I considered myself an academic weapon. Embarrassing to admit, but I thought I was. I was cruising in my life, and there was no stopping me at this point. And then I moved into Hetty's, into a loft. We all know what direction this is heading, and that is down. Then, further disaster struck. Running down wooden stairs is always a good idea, right? No. My feet come up from underneath me. I grab onto the stairs to try to stop myself from death. Then there comes this sound. Well, that day, my fall was in the early morning wake up to everyone in the dorm. I apologize. That is another story to add to the books. It sadly happened 4 times to be exact. Some more graceful than others. My last true hurrah to date was also my junior year. The year of my 4 graceful, amazing trips down the stairs. We all have those mornings where we should just go to the health center, but we just want to make it through the day. That was one in particular. We had just come back from winter term, and I had bought these really cool gray pants in Boston that weekend. I was super proud to be wearing them. I forgot my computer and decided to run upstairs to get it in fuzzy socks. I still had not learned my lesson. So up the stairs I go. I grab my computer, and then down the stairs I go. And then I go down on my back. Okay, shake it off, Hunter. It's only a minor disaster. Off I go to the breakfast. Well, it just so happens someone walks up to Molly and says, "I think Hunter has a rip in her pants." Molly reports back to me, and yes, my pants were ripped right down the middle. I am in sheer horror of what has happened. I am so upset. Even though normally I find these things so funny, my brand new pair of pants ruined, my life ruined. I managed to pull myself together and after changing then the tears, the type you cannot control, but then I also started to laugh. So I cried, sniffled, laughed for 30 minutes. I don't know why, but I made it out through the day. It was funny by lunch. I'm sure you can ask many people in this chapel about my falls, the time I went down when I was giving my Spanish presentation, because vertigo struck again, and the flat-out wipeouts while just walking. Through all these embarrassing moments at Brooks, I learned to laugh at myself, not to take life too seriously, and to be there for people when they truly do fall. When we all fall, we just want someone there to cry through the pain with and laugh about the good times. We all want someone to catch us, and at times that might not be the most ideal for our social standing. Look at me now. I am still standing and laughing. I survived high school, almost. Still have 97 days to go, 97 days to laugh a little harder, to live a little harder, And most of all, fight a little harder for carpet on the wooden stairs at this school. Thank you.